like how, if you have anything to share with that, of being scared of that huge change in your life.
It turned out to be the biggest blessing for both of us, and now for his wife and me and my husband, and and it's like, I think that, well, there's so much I could say, but the gist of it is at the time I was so mad at God and I was so confused and I was so like, well, Lord, you told me to marry this person. And like, you knew that my worst fear was to get a divorce, the 10 years, just like my mom and dad did. And what happened? I got a divorce at 10 years. And somebody else said to me, well, do you think that you manifested? And I'm like, no, I didn't manifest it. You weren't. I was like, you bamboozled me.
Yeah.
Like, I felt lied to. And it took me, that full, like, just like year of just like constant therapy, constantly crying it out. And what I realized is like, God didn't lie about anything. Everything God said was true at that time. That was my husband at that time.
Yeah.
Everything that I needed.
Hey, cousin, happy Wednesday. So Meagan Good is coming out saying that she was mad at the time because of the divorce with Devon Franklin. And I was like, girl, you need to be mad at yourself because you lied and said God told you to marry that Devon Franklin was your husband. Now, I know some of y'all in the comments, how do you know God didn't tell her? I got my old King James Version of the Bible. I got this Bible when I graduated high school in 1996. It's now 2026. The reason if God is speaking to someone, when you say God said, if you don't know the Bible, okay, if you don't know, you're not reading, you're not studying, because most Christians don't study the Bible. They only open their Bibles when they go to church on Sunday, if they go to church Sunday. When you hear God tells you something, Holy Spirit, check the Bible. Just go over to the scriptures and check it. For those of us who are a little bit more biblically inclined, you know when Meagan Good said, God told me Devon Franklin was my husband, I knew she was lying. She didn't hear from God. That was not correction. That was not the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Because these people in Hollywood, they have different gods. So let me just say, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob did not tell Meagan Good that Devon Franklin was her husband. I knew it. Because why? It contradicts scriptures. And to confirm, it contradicts scriptures. Devon Franklin said, no, that is not God. God didn't tell you that. Devon Franklin says, she is everything I do not want in a wife. She's not saved. She drinks. She cuts like a sailor. She's an actress. And she kept beating it in his head, beating it in his head, beating it in his head, beating it in his head. God say, God say. I think it took a year, if I remember correct. God say, God say. And he claimed, Devon Franklin, that he prayed about it. And God said, I'm going to give you everything you do not want. That is a lie. How do I know that's a lie? It doesn't line up to scriptures. God says all good and perfect gifts come from me. Your wife is somebody you should desire and want to be. Devon Franklin is, okay, let's just stick with born again minister. God's going to tell you to marry a sinner woman? Lies. Okay? That's how you know. When people say God say, just go to the scriptures. If you don't know, go to the scriptures. Okay, side note. On Facebook yesterday, it came across my thing. They're talking about tithing. I don't know why Black people have a problem giving to the church, right? Well, okay, stop going to those get a church. So somebody said, well, God, I give my tithes to the poor because God said we should give to the poor. So I comment, Jesus said we should give to the Lord. I said, Jesus also said, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. What does the Bible say for those of you who believe in tithing and an offering? I do believe in tithing and offering. What does the Bible say about your tithe? Where does the tithe belong? Belongs to your local church. This is why people say, can I tithe to you? I tell them no, because I'm not coming to bury you. I'm not going to visit you in the hospital. Your tithe belongs to your local church. It sounds honorable to take your tithe and give to the poor, but that's not what the Bible says in context. The Bible does not say, take your tithe and give to the poor. It says give to the poor, but it said take your tithe and give to the poor, because the tithe belongs to your local church. So when people say God saved, beloved, go to the scriptures to see if that is what God said. This is why it is important for us to study, to show ourselves approved unto God, a workman that does not need to be ashamed, but rightly dividing the word of truth. By the way, one of my nieces, I was talking to her on the phone yesterday. She said, Auntie Janice, I've never seen you with black nail polish. I say, it's not black, it's green. It's forest green. It's darker than I thought it would come out, and I was in a rush, so I couldn't get it done. So it's not black, it's forest green. Okay. So now Meagan Good is coming out and saying, oh, I was mad, but it turned out to be a blessing. No, you should have been mad at yourself. You've been dating them hood niggas, them beating you, bashing you upside your head, and you see a nice, clean church boy, and you wanted to try the nice, clean church boy. And after you was done, what did you do? You go back to what you was used to. Granted, I love them together. I love Meagan and what's his name? The abuser. Okay. I love them together. I think they're more of a better match than her and Devon. Okay. And I don't like Devon's new wife either. Okay. So now since she was mad at God. And in all fairness, I know I've been there. I have been there where there is still something I'm dealing with that I'm going back to God over and over again. And it's not that I'm mad at God. It's more, I don't understand. I don't understand. Okay. Okay. I don't understand. So we've all been there. I've been mad at God. And, okay. So according to Yahoo News, she said, I was mad at God. Meagan Good looks back on divorce from Devon Franklin, and she now consider it the biggest blessing for them. But I thought you said God said that was your husband. So how is it a blessing? Well, I guess they're divorced. Okay. Okay, girl. The actress and the motivational speaker were married from 2012 to 2022, and in 2025, both married different partners. Still, neither has been shy about their respective healing journeys and documenting their lives after divorce. Woo! Meagan Good and Devon Franklin have been open about what led to the demise of their marriage and the transformation each underwent to the road to find new love. However, Good might have given her rawest and most vulnerable answer yet about divorce and her initial feelings after the decision that changed both of their lives. Good was a guest on Daniel Brooks' The Intermission podcast, and the two discussed a range of topics, include Good's historic run as the lead actress on NBC Deception, why she never considered a plan B if acting didn't work out, and more. Around the 37 mark, Brooks mentioned Good's split from Franklin, recalling the belief among many women who are fearful of leaving something that isn't suiting them and the fear that can come with it. It turned out to be the biggest blessing for both of us, Good told Brooks, for his wife and for my husband. Good and Franklin first met on the set 2011 film Jump in the Room and quickly fell in love. Lies. Quickly fell in love. The two wed in 2012 and appeared to embody relationship goals, serving as an ideal couple others could look at. Never. I never thought of Meagan Good and Devon Franklin as couple goals. As a matter of fact, if you've been with me any length of time, I told you it was not going to work out. I knew they were not going to work out. Okay. So no, I don't do couple goals. I do not do couple goals because you don't know what people are going through in their home. There is no couple I look up to other than Christ and the church, because Christ can love his bride perfectly. Other than that, there's no couple goals. Is there a couple I love? Yes, Sarah and Russell. You know, I love them because my story is like a Sarah and a Russell story. But other than that, there is not a couple like I'm just like, oh my God, I just love them. Oh my God, I just adore them. Absolutely not. Okay. So no, not couple goals for me. She said, at the time, I was so mad at God. I was so confused. And I was like, well, Lord, you told me to marry this person. And you knew what my worst fear was, to get a divorce after 10 years, just like my dad and my mom did. And what happened? I got a divorce at year 10. God Good explained to Brooks. And then when it did ultimately happen, I was just like, Lord, I just don't trust you anymore. I was like, you bamboozled me. Good continued. I felt lied to. And it took me that full year of just like constant therapy, constant crying it out. In her healing journey, Good abstained from alcohol. Abstain from alcohol. So you were still drinking. You were still an alcoholic married to the minister. Did I tell you? Did I tell you? What do you mean abstain from alcohol? In her healing journey, Good abstained from alcohol and came to realization this season with Franklin was temporary and not a forever one, regardless of how long the two were together. Now, let's go to the Bible. Let's go to the King James Version of the Bible. Does the Bible say marriage is a temporary one? It's a season. No, it doesn't. God's intention is that we get married one time and spend the rest of our lives on earth with this person, which is why marriage, your mate, is such an important decision. Does divorce happen? Yes. That's why God give out for divorce. But God's intention is that it's marriage is seasonal. It's not. Okay. That's why I keep telling y'all, when people talk, go to the scriptures. Okay, go to the Bible. All right. Everything that I needed to get from that, I got from that. Everything I needed to give to that, I gave to her. She said, and we were both better because of it. I think I know I'm a better wife because of that experience. You could read the rest of it. Foolishness, child. Foolishness. But anyways, let me know what you think. I absolutely love you. I adore you. Be sure to subscribe, thumbs up. Tell me what you think about this. Do I have enough time to do Married at First Sight? The last portion of Married at First Sight. We shall see. Come on back and you'll see if I do Married at First Sight. I want to remind you the husband profile begins in September. If you want to learn how to date correctly and how to choose a good husband, the husband profile begins in September. The link is below. Let me know, sign up, and then we can schedule our one-on-one. Love you. Talk to you later. Bye.